I recall you saying that part of your motivation for writing Bon was like a sense of patriotism because Bon is Australian, AC/DC is an Australian band, and you felt that it was important for Australia's musical identity to have a really good, record of Bon's life. Is that something that still registers with you, or was that something that motivated you at first, or how does Bon's connection to Australia, how did that inspire you as far as putting together this project?
Well, yes, certainly in recent times when we've seen this very brazen move by the Scots to claim Bon as
Yeah,
theirs. I think it's more important than ever to sort of underline the fact that he was Australian through and through. And
yeah,
for me, Bon Scott is the kind of sound of Australia. And certainly for, uh, blue collar young men or, guys, in their 50s, 40s, 50s, early 60s, Bon Scott is very much a folk hero here. He's like Ned Kelly, you know. He's held in that kind of regard, and he's an Australian icon, and people need to understand that, and that Bon is a product of Australia, not Scotland. Um, but I just also want to add, also, because I haven't had the opportunity to do this, but has anyone actually gone to YouTube and listened to unpublished critics by Australian Crawl and then compared it to Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses?
oh, okay. No, I have not done that. I think I know what you're getting at.
Anyone watching this, go ahead and type in unpublished critics by Australian Crawl and then get back to me. So look, Australian music from that era is fantastic. From the 70s, 80s, Australian rock was just superb. It was one of our, great exports to the world. And I think it's a really sad thing that, we have a music industry today where, we don't have any rock bands really coming through anymore. And I mean, rock is, essentially dead. I mean, occasionally you get a kind of a new band come through, but usually they're, someone like Greta Van Fleet sort of aping Led Zeppelin,
Mhm.
or, a Black Crowes clone or, whatever. There are very few sort of original rock bands out there. And it's not to say that it's completely dead, but I haven't really heard a new rock band in many years that I've just sort of been blown away by. And the last one I can think of is Blackberry Smoke.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I wonder going back to that point about Australian patriotism and that music scene that you're referring to. I hope that someday your writing will bring you back to music because I just happen to wonder if the thought of writing another book about another band that's Australian, has four letters in their name, run by three brothers, and had a lead singer die sort of under bizarre circumstances ever crossed your mind. And can you guess who I'm talking about there?
Who are you talking about, mate? Who are you talking about?
In excess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had various people approach me about doing an In Excess book. I do love In Excess,
I do too.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, particularly
And in
their
the
early
Youngs, you make
records.
some good connections between AC/DC and them. Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, and Michael Hutchins was an AC/DC fan too.
Yeah.
Um, I think their last great record was The Swing. That's an amazing record. I've thought about it, but I don't think I would go there. If anything, I would do something related to the Bee Gees. And in fact, I met.
Oh shoot!
Stephen.
Is that another one with three brothers?
Yeah, because that's why I asked you.
Oh God, Australian bands with three brothers. That's funny.
Well, I met Stephen Gibb in, the son of Barry in Miami a couple of years ago. I was thinking of doing an Andy Gibb book.
Okay.
And just wanted to get his sort of impressions of the viability of that, and he was very nice to me. But the thing is, a Bee Gees film is coming out. And that's been in production for, I don't know if it's wrapped up production or what's going on, but certainly that was the family's focus when I met Stephen. But I did write a blog about Andy on my website, and his daughter got in touch with me, and Spencer Gibb got in touch with me, and said, thank you for writing that. And I think that Andy Gibb would make a fantastic biography. But, the thing is, you can throw out sort of names and say, oh, this book would be great, this book would be great, or whatever. The thing is, yes, I can write a proposal, but I've still got to go to a publisher and pitch it to them. And then they've got to take it to their marketing people and their sales people, and those people are then going to crunch numbers, and they're going to say, oh, this last book on the Bee Gees only sold, 5,000 copies or 6,000. Therefore, it's not commercially viable. So over the years, I've had ideas for several sort of music books, and there was one that I was really passionate about, which was the story of the Walden brothers who started Capricorn Records.
Oh.
But in the 70s, down in Georgia, and who have a fascinating story. It would be a tremendous book. But I remember, presenting it to my publisher, just not getting anywhere with it at all.
Yeah.
And so, it takes a lot for a book to end up on a shelf in a bookshop. There's a lot of work that goes into it. A lot of, not only just in the writing, but the visualization of the idea. Taking it to publishers. Getting money for your idea. Trying to survive on that money while you write the book. All the sacrifices that you go through, and it becomes like a bloody obsession that you have for years and years and years, and Bond was an obsession.
Yeah.
And it has to be, though, otherwise you're never going to finish it.